Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. Grab that cup of coffee. I still got my penguin mug out. Come on now. It's still winter, even though there's hardly any snow on the ground right now. And it's a beautiful day. Look at that sun shining. It's gorgeous. And I just hoped that maybe our epistle lesson for this coming Sunday, as I sit in this beautiful sunshine, would have some really good stuff to say. And it is kind of mind-boggling. Hey, think of this. Did you ever catch yourself saying to your kids, why don't you just grow up? You're acting like a 2-year-old. You're just a big baby. Hey, did you ever find yourself saying that to your kids? Be honest and say yes. Well, Paul is saying it to the Corinthian church. Yeah, he's calling them a bunch of babies. Look at this. And so, brothers and sisters, I could not speak to you as spiritual people, but rather as people of the flesh, as infants, better translated, babies, as babies in Christ. I fed you milk, not solid food, for you weren't ready for solid food. And even now, you're still not ready. I still got to get the old bottle out and put it in your mouth. Paul, holy mackerel. Chill out, man. This is incredible. He's really getting on their case. And what is he getting on their case about? Well, once again, it goes back to what we already talked about just earlier in this letter. We are in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, just starting at verses 1 through 9. That's the reading. And he's still going on about the factions that are in the church and how some people think others are better than others amongst themselves, but also partly because they follow so-and-so and not so-and-so. And here the big divide is between Paul himself and Apollos. Now, we see elsewhere in scriptures talk about Apollos in the book of Acts, and it's all pretty good stuff. He's a good dude, and it seems as if Paul had left Apollos in charge of this community to help them along and nurture them, but it just hasn't been happening. And Apollos has done work in other places, and it has happened. So, wow, what is going on with these Corinthian people? Well, they seem to be hung up on this whole thing of a Greek way of looking at the world, which is wisdom. Now, wisdom is found in the Jewish line of thinking as well. We have a lot of wisdom literature in the Older Testament, but this is a little bit different. It's more going along with being eloquent in your speech and being able to argue a point and debate and things like that. And look how smart that guy, he can really do it. And man, they really got their act together, and that's our leader. Yeah. Well, Paul has already told us last week, that's all nothing. You have to look at everything through the eyes of the cross, through that lens that helps us focus on the cross, Christ crucified. That's what counts, no matter what you do and what you say. All right, so that's in the past. So here's all this talk about still being babies, spiritual babies. And Paul will even get into this a little bit further down the line when he gets to 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and the love chapter 13. But that's for another day. So what's interesting, what I find in this passage is Paul not only is speaking to the people themselves and saying, grow up, he's also giving them a little lesson on what leadership in the church is all about. And it is the fact that all leaders should be working together as well. And that's what Paul and Apollos have been trying to do. He said, look, what is Apollos? What is Paul? We're nothing more than servants. Yeah, we are servants of Christ. We belong to Christ. And as the Lord gives each and every one of us something different to do. Servants through whom you came to believe, as the Lord assigned to each. I planted a seed. Apollos watered. But who gives the growth? You know that passage. It's God gives the growth. So we're really not anything other than the servants, but only God can give the growth, the spiritual growth within us. So keep that in mind too, folks. There's no arguing over who's better, and just because I follow this one over that one, that makes me better than you. Just doesn't cut it. So, yeah, it's a good thing to do. Look in the mirror and say, hey, am I someone who's maturing in my faith, or am I still taking those baby steps? Folks, wake up. It's time to grow up. And it's something we all need to do in our journey, in our walk of faith. Oh, take another sip. And Apostle Paul, are you going to cool down the rhetoric in this letter? Well, keep reading in 1 Corinthians and you'll find out exactly what Paul does do. He doesn't stop for 1 minute. He says, come on, folks. It's time for all of you to grow up, to mature. God has given you everything you need. Now use it, and use it in a wondrous way. All right, go outside today for a while. Hopefully it's sunny where you are. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the relative warmth for this time of year. And God's blessings be with you.